Ohio State just continues to handle business. Got a dub at home yesterday, 54-10 over Iowa. You look at the box score, you say, wow, they just straight up handled business. And they did. We already told you. But there's a little bit more to that story. There was a little bit more resistance given by Iowa in the early going, at least, than I think we had perceived, especially on the defensive side of things for the Hawkeyes. It was sloppy. Can we just say that about Ohio State in the early going, especially offensively? It was sloppy. And you start to ask these questions, especially with the fumble for a touchdown that happened from C.J. Stroud, from the interception from C.J. Stroud. You just say, are they not taking Iowa seriously? Is there just a sense of we should show up and win that's here within this Buckeye program? On top of that, are they looking forward to Penn State? Is there sort of this look-ahead spot that's going to just be tragic today in Columbus, and we're going to have to talk about it on Sunday morning? Settle for field goals. Consistently settled for field goals in that first half. And that's great. Take 3 points where you can get them. But when you're Ohio State and you got the weapons that you have, Travion Henderson, JSN got some burn yesterday. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a creative player. Julian Fleming, Emeka Book. Like we could keep going down the list here. There is a wealth of riches there for Ohio State offensively. And so to settle for field goals, you're probably saying, interesting. I don't know that it ever felt like Ohio State was going to lose that game, but you didn't have the control of the game in the first half that you would have liked to see as a program. It felt like maybe there was some external motivation that was needed, if that makes sense, which you don't want for your program. Championship programs do not rely on the external to get them going. Now, to make this very clear, Ohio State did not fall subjective to that rat poison, to quote Nick Saban. They kicked it into overdrive in the second half on offense, and the defense handled business really throughout the game, created 6 turnovers. And I think as a whole, if you're Ryan Day, and he talked about it in his press conference a little bit, this is the way that you probably wanted to win against Iowa. Like, would you have liked to execute better in the first half? Yes. Would you have liked to run the ball throughout the rest of the game better? Yes. Only 66 yards on the ground. That Iowa defense is solid now. Don't get it twisted. That Iowa defense can play. But for Ohio State, what they did yesterday, the muscle they developed yesterday, I think is going to go overlooked by a lot of people. Because when they got tested, they were able to respond. And long term, that's going to help them. That just built the resistance muscle that they were able to rely on in the future. Because when they do play Michigan, when they do play Penn State next week, they're going to have some sort of response to it. And you don't want to rely on that week 1 game against Notre Dame as the last time you had to respond to some adversity. And so for Iowa, they may have just done them the favor of the year. They may have just ultimately given them a gift that they don't even know about yet. To win tough from this team, and I know tough is probably a little bit of a generous word to put to it, but there were some tough things they had to do to win this game. And you have to credit Ryan Day and his program. Because like I said, to win in that tough-esque kind of fashion, you're saying they won 54-10. How tough is that? I promise you, tough moments. They had to be tough at certain moments to win this game. That's going to pay dividends down the line. Was really impressed that there was no panic throughout this program at all. And we have seen different programs throughout college football go down to, let's just call it what it is, inferior competition, and start to sort of lose their cool. That wasn't what happened yesterday. C.J. Stroud, rough first half, rough start to the second half, sort of, threw 4 touchdowns the rest of the half. Came out and just balled. It felt very transactional. It wasn't a matter of what are we doing. It was okay, let's get back to being us. Let's figure out what we have to do, and let's go do what we do. Talked to Spencer Holbrook from Letterman Road this week, and he said it beautifully. For Ohio State, this game was more so about showing up and doing what you're supposed to do against the team you're supposed to do it against. I mean, 30 points was the line. They covered that with ease. If you bet on the Buckeyes yesterday, congratulations. You're probably in our spaces. Spencer Holbrook told you they were going to cover. Good teams handle their business in a way that they're supposed to. And for them to not panic for the second time tells us a lot about this program. And going forward, there's a lot of reason for excitement. So here's the deal. It felt like Ohio State just showed up to the office, knew what they had to do, and got it done. And we talked about it in our preview for this game. or sort of talking about Ohio State, what we can learn from them in this game. And I think the thing that's going to be overlooked is, okay, you won big in a game that you're supposed to win at home. But guess who saw the way that you responded to some of that adversity? Michigan saw that. Georgia saw that. Alabama saw that. Clemson saw that. All the programs that you could play in the postseason, they're going to have to go back to the drawing board and say, wow, when this Ohio State team gets tested, when there's a little bit of adversity, the game's not over. You're going to have to bury this team. If you want to beat this team, you're going to have to absolutely finish the deal. And that is a lot easier said than done. So I think the book is short and sweet on Ohio State from yesterday. Put a lot of good things on tape, self-corrected, didn't panic when things went wrong, and showed some toughness and winning that football game. Good for Ryan Day, good for that program. Business was handled in Columbus yesterday against Iowa. I'm Jody Pickell. This has been The Hard Count. Nick Brake does the real heavy lifting. You can help drive this program by subscribing to the channel. Also follow me on the social channels at JD Pickell on Instagram and Twitter to stay up with every single thing we're doing here and interact in what we got going on this show. So we're going to keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.